Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Super excited about these cards I'm sharing today using new stamp sets from the Colorado Craft Company, June 2021 release. You guys, with this little preview here, probably know why I love myself some rainbows and I love crafty type of stamped images. So these, of course, are the two stamp sets I picked to share with you today. I love that the paintbrushes in the Color My World stamp set are oversized. So many fun ways to use these. I wanted them to take up as much of my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel as possible. This is an A2 sized card base, so this is going to completely cover the front of my card. They would also look fantastic on a slimline card with the oversized scale of these. I think there's a lot of things you could do there as well. I am going to be coloring mine on Bristol Smooth cardstock using no line coloring and Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, but they are going to look amazing whether you color them with Copics, watercolor, pencils, any kind of markers and coloring mediums that you might have. They are really, really amazing. So I ended up kind of flipping it around here. I think this will be a little easier to get them lined up. I actually want to be able to stamp them all with one pass of my MISTI, or one press of my MISTI, I guess I should say. And so I am laying them out and trying to keep my fingers out of the way as much as possible. So a little bit of the paintbrush is going to hang off what is actually going to be the bottom of the card. I know I have it flipped upside down, but that's going to be the bottom. They're all going to be kind of like sticking up. I am going to stamp these then with Lawn Fawn Jellyfish No Line Coloring ink. This is my very favorite ink for no line coloring. I have used several inks in the past. I really like them all, but this Jellyfish ink is definitely my favorite. If you've seen me do no line coloring anytime, probably in the last 9 months to a year, this is probably the ink that I have used. I really, really like it. I'm going to use the Stamper's Secret tool to press the cover of my MISTI to get a nice even pressure all over the design, especially because I am stamping multiple designs there. Pull that away and there are my paintbrushes. We are going to start at the left and move to the right just to make sure that I'm keeping my hand out of the marker since I am right-handed. I found that this worked the best. I am going to be coloring the little top section that the bristles of my brushes come out of with gray and pale gray. This is going to be the same for all 7 brushes that I'm coloring. The bristles for my brushes are all going to be colored with mid-brown and beige. I think something that would be really fun, I did not do it here today, but is to color the tips of the brushes, maybe with the same, or with a color, pardon me, to make it look like they've been dipped in paint. I think that would be really cute as well. And then the handles of all of my paintbrushes are going to be colored with different rainbow colors of Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. This is violet and light violet for my first brush. And then we're just gonna go in rainbow order. I started opposite of maybe what I would normally do, where I start with pink or red and move to blue or purple. I started with purple, and then I'm going to move to my blue, my turquoise, green, yellow, red, and pink. So the next color combination is going to be blue and light blue after I did the gray and the browns for the rest of the brush there. And I just really love the size and scale of these images. They are big, they take up lots of room, lots of space. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I am a sucker for paintbrush or craft supply type of stamped images or die cut images, no matter what it is. I just love them all. And I think this is a fantastic one. This is probably one of my favorite paintbrush sets that I have ever used. I really, really like the size of it. So for our turquoise color combination, we're using turquoise green and green shadow. I like to trace out the shape with my darker color of marker and then blend out with the lighter shade. I'm only using 2 shades per color family. You can also incorporate a blender or a 3rd shade if you want to, but coloring these on the Bristol Smooth cardstock, I have found that they blend beautifully. This is a little light green and yellow green, which gives you a fantastic kind of limey green type of look. And that's the little teeny skinny paintbrush. Just tracing out any of the detail. That's the other thing about these paintbrush images. Lots and lots of detail on the brushes. You can see that there. I tried to hit any of those areas with my darker marker before blending it out with the lighter marker so that it still would show up. This is bright yellow and yellow. And that's the big paintbrush. And I love that I didn't intend it this way, but I'm glad it worked out this way, that the wider paintbrush kind of falls where it does, because you'll see here when I do some finishing detail for the card, I'm able to stamp a little red heart over the paintbrush handle very easily because it's nice and wide. And the hearts are all from the Build a Rainbow set. I think these sets work together really well. So our last 2 paintbrush colors, we got the red paintbrush, which is like the little chiseled angled tip paintbrush here. That's going to be some carmine and light carmine. And then our pink paintbrush will be peach pink and sugared almond pink. Now there's a lot, I guess I shouldn't say a lot. There's 3 options in the Color My World stamp set for sentiments. I'm going to use 2 of them today. We are going to stamp You Color My World, and sometimes all you need is a little splash of color. We're actually going to stamp both of those right in the middle of the panel using VersaFine ONYX black ink. Those are from the Color My World set, and then the little hearts that I'm going to be stamping up above, just kind of giving a little height to the panel. Those are from the Build a Rainbow set. And there are lots of little hearts in this set, so I think they are super useful for lots of sets. What I love about the You Color My World sentiment, the word color is got that nice outline. And I'm going to color over the top of what I've already stamped and colored to add a little bit more detail and interest. I did try to follow the same. If a letter falls over a certain color paintbrush, I colored it the same color. So I wasn't trying to color like yellow over blue or something where it's not going to work. I use my blue and light blue for the C. For the L, we'll use turquoise green and green shadow. For the green, we'll use light green and yellow green. But then the O and the R don't really fall over a color that much, and so I'm just going to mix it up and grab a couple of different colors. We're going to use our yellows for O, and we'll use some pinks for the R. I chose not to use a red in my colors for the word here, since I've got the little red hearts stamped up above with Hero Hues Fruit Punch ink. And I love how this turned out. I think that the sentiments going over the top here just add a nice little touch. And they're nice and big and bold. Now I decided, because this is a single layer panel, I did stamp this on a separate sheet of paper, but I'm going to glue it to a top fold card base. So it's all a 1-layer card. I am going to take glossy accents and add it to my hearts and also to the letters in the word color. I haven't added that last little stamped heart on my paintbrush handle yet. I actually came back and did that a little bit later after the Glossy Accents had dried on my card. It won't take that long to dry. Glossy Accents dries nice and fast, and I love how it makes these elements glossy and shiny and adds a little bit of extra interest, I guess I should say, to a very simple design card. So here's that heart that I'm going to stamp right there on the paintbrush handle with Fruit Punch ink. You can see how well the ink stamps right over top of the Zig Clean Color Real Brush marker. I love that. And then I will add Glossy Accents to that heart as well. And we will set it aside to dry while we work on our second card. So I am all about rainbow everything, and this Build a Rainbow set is big, bold, and awesome. Anytime a stamp set has separate stamps for each ray of the rainbow, I am here for it. And this one is especially fun because it's a little wonky, and two of the rays of the rainbow have detail. So the second from largest ray has little hearts in it, and then the second from smallest has little dots in it, which I love. I actually stamped this off camera just to kind of try it out, and I stamped it with the outer ring first, and then I worked my way in, and I think I like stamping it better from the smallest to the largest. I am starting with Hero Hue's Pool Party ink in the middle, and then the next ray of our rainbow is going to be stamped in Key Lime Fizz from Hero Arts. I am using my MISTI so that I can stamp each of these more than once so I get really good coverage. And I love these bright, happy colors. I think this rainbow would be really fun in muted colors as well. I might try to do that sometime here on my channel just for fun, just to try out some different colors. The next ray is going to be Lemon Drop. Oh, and I did not get that stamped very good the first time. And then next, we are going to have Creamsicle, which is the orange color. And what's great is you can maneuver, especially the larger rays, you can maneuver them a little bit. So if you want to kind of squish them together, for lack of a better term, a little bit more, shape them, you can. Here is that orange. I love how each layer of the rainbow, as it gets added, it just starts to kind of all come together. There's also a cloud in this set, a sun, a sentiment, a couple of individual words, and then all the hearts, and also some raindrops. So lots of good stuff in this set. For our final piece of our rainbow, we are going to stamp the last one with Fruit Punch ink, which is the red color. And then I decided not to make like an actual mask for my rainbow, but I want to stamp the sun peeking out from behind the rainbow. And in order to do that, I'm just going to take a Post-it note. I kind of just tore it a little bit and simply masked off the area where the sun overlaps the rainbow just a little. And that way I'm able to stamp it and not stamp on top of the rainbow ray and kind of ruin the whole look. So I tested it out first to kind of see where I want it to go. I've also got the Keep Looking Up, There May Be a Rainbow Waiting for You sentiment from the Build a Rainbow set that I will be stamping here on my panel as well. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment first. I'm using VersaFine ONYX black ink so that it shows up over the bright colors. Just going to clean that with my chamois. Go ahead and move that. And then I've got my Post-it note that I'm just going to tear down, kind of see where I need it to go. That's going to work. And we are going to stamp our sunshine with the Lemon Drop ink. Make sure we get really good coverage here. And then I did play around with extra hearts from the Build a Rainbow set several times, and ultimately I opted to just add one on top of the sunshine. I felt like visually that worked the best, because I kept trying to put some over here in the other corner, and for me that was just a little, it just didn't look right. So I'm going to just stamp one right on top of that sunshine. Like I said, I did keep trying. I like to share with you the things that work and the things that don't, because there are always a lot of those. I think little hearts would be fun maybe if I didn't stamp the sunshine, just to give a little height and a little interest. But let's just use this one for now. After we have stamped our panel, I did trim this rainbow panel down to 4 by 5¼ inches. So it's slightly smaller than A2 size. And then I'm going to pop it on the front of a side fold card base. And we're going to take some little gemstones and decorate that green ray of our rainbow with some gems. I really kept trying to add more hearts, and I don't know why, because I like it better now without it. I am going to take a couple of white envelopes from Simon Says Stamp, and we are going to create coordinating envelopes for both cards. We are going to stamp a half rainbow on our first white envelope, exactly like we stamped our rainbow for our card. And I'm going to start again with the smallest, and we're going to work off the left side of the envelope. This leaves plenty of room out to the right to handwrite our address for the recipient. And then don't forget to add a little something to the back flap. I always think that's fun as well. I love a simple coordinating envelope, and these are fantastic. Really, really cute and fun. I love rainbow envelopes. I really just want to create a whole bunch of rainbow envelopes because I love them. If you have colorful envelopes, I think you could definitely stamp some fun envelopes there too. Yellow is kind of my go-to oftentimes if I want to stamp color on top of a colored envelope, just because it shows up so well. But these white are just gorgeous, very simple. They match the cards, and I love how they turned out. Now we are going to stamp the large heart in the center of this rainbow. I don't really want to add a sunshine or anything. I think it's just not going to work visually. So once we have all of the rainbow rays stamped, we're going to take that large red heart from the Build a Rainbow set and stamp it in the middle. And I like stamping it off the side like this. This is a great idea for a card as well. So if you don't want to use the entire rainbow, you could always just do a half rainbow on your card panel. I think that would be really cute. And if I'd been thinking, I could have stamped this last rainbow ray and the heart at the same time, but I did not. I still thought I might try to include the sunshine, and I just didn't like how it looked. I felt like it was going to be moving too far into the center of the card and just was a little too much. So a simple heart's going to work better. However, on the back flap of this envelope, we can take the sunshine and stamp that. And then I'm also going to stamp a little heart on top, much like I did on our card panel, so it matches perfectly. Look how fun that looks, you guys. I love it. I love that it perfectly matches. So here's the back panel. Let's stamp our sunshine and our heart before we move on to the coordinating envelope for our Color My World design. I always like a little something here on the back flap. I think it's fun. If you were doing these assembly line style, like if you created multiples of either of these cards, it would really be a time saver with using your MISTI because you could just stamp them all at that time. Little glossy accents for the heart on the sunshine, and our rainbow card is finished. So let's go ahead and do our Color My World envelope. And what I decided to do, it's a little more time consuming, but I love the end result, is we are going to take those same colors of Hero Arts Reactive inks and we are going to stamp the paintbrush with those along the bottom edge of the envelope. So really just the tip of each of those is showing, and we're going to use Fruit Punch, Creamsicle, Lemon Drop, Key Lime Fizz, and Pool Party, and we're going to repeat them with paintbrushes all the way across the bottom of the envelope. Leaves plenty of room right above it. It's still very easy if you need to write over the top of some of this a little bit. It's still legible. Same goes for the rainbow, but it's leaves plenty of room up above it for that address as well, and then it perfectly complements and coordinates with our card design. Let's just make that one a little higher. The fan brush is a little bit harder to make work with the others just because it fans out, but I think I made it work. And we'll just stamp the rest of these. And to break up the paint brushes, we are going to stamp a little or a couple of little hearts on the front of our envelope and then the big heart on the back flap of our envelope to match. You could stamp these in any color that you want. You may even be able to line up multiples of these. Let's say if you wanted to stamp them all in the same color, you could probably line up several of these and stamp them with one pass and then stamp them again, and that would be a little bit quicker. Now I'm going to add my hearts. And that is going to be it for these Color My World rainbow cards featuring new stamps from the Colorado Craft Company June 2021 release. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Colorado Craft Company products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.